talk about some of their other business. There's been the outgoing of Erik Dyer. Firstly, your thoughts on that off to Bayern Munich?
My thoughts are that he has been a loyal servant. He's done everything he can and played to the best of his ability through his the last sort of 9-10 years that he's been here. He's done everything he could, and for that you can be grateful. Like, a player's quality isn't directly correlated with how much you should value him, right? His ability is what it is, and if he gives his all when he comes on the pitch and wears the Tottenham shirt, then you should be respected for that, and he should be remembered as a Spurs player as one that gave everything and played for the shirt.
Out of interest, are you surprised that that's the move that has been made?
Yeah, it's mental. It's crazy. So like literally 48 hours ago, you got Dragusin, Bayern Munich doing everything they can, putting a bid in, usurping our bid, doing everything they can to bring this player in, and he's like, well, I've given my word to Tottenham. I'm a man of my word. I'm going to go and I'm sure Spurs did some jiggery-pokery with the contract and the transfer fee. But fundamentally, he said, despite Bayern Munich's interest, I'm still going to Tottenham. Tottenham have taken Dragusin, Bayern Munich's number one target, and then have gone, well, we know you wanted him, but we've got another centre-back here. He's all right. He's called Erik Dyer. Do you want him? And they're gone, really? How much? About 4 million? Yeah, all right, go on.
Harry Kane's there. Yeah, no, he's really good.
Really good. Yeah. Do you vouch for him? Yeah.
Erik, good lad.
The interesting thing is that I think they've bought. I mean, he's a fourth choice centre back. He won't get ahead of Kim and Jae and De Ligt and the other one. I can't remember his name. But also he can play centre midfield. Or certainly in defensive midfield, and that's where they were looking for cover.
He's one of those players. He's a manager's dream, isn't he? Like, that so many rate him so highly. He does give his all. Yeah. And his failings were so evident this season, not because he became a terrible player. It's just the Postecoglou's system doesn't suit. If we were playing a low block like we did with Conte and Mourinho, Dyer could probably still have a career at Tottenham, but just the way we're playing, he just doesn't fit. It can't fit. It doesn't work. And do you know what? It was when Postecoglou himself said, "We need another centre back," like quite
openly,
bluntly, and quite brutally. But this is that we knew that it was kind of time.
Well, you remember the journalist who said there was a big thing made of how quickly Postecoglou answered the question. Now that Ben Davies got his hamstring injury, does that affect your position of Erik Dyer? And he was like, no, it doesn't. He's going to be sold, essentially. And it was like a big thing. Like, but it doesn't. Erik Dyer was never going to fit in this system. And just being completely honest that he needed to find another club. And what a move for him, by the way.
Yeah, brilliant.
Like he's going to win a league title.
Yeah,
and probably a cup. And Spurs will not, probably. So
it would also be quite funny from a neutral perspective if Harry Kane and Erik Dyer move there and then they don't win the league. And the Spurs they'll carry the curse away.
Yeah. But I'm definitely rooting for Bayer Leverkusen for sure. So.
Yeah, I can imagine. Just on Dragusin as well, I think that looks like a decent signing. He's highly rated, isn't he?
Yeah.
Young player. But are you excited by this one?
I'm excited that we solved the problem. I can't profess to know a great deal about him. I'm again trusting in our excellent recruitment that we've had over the last few years. He's 21 years old, very aggressive, plays on the front foot, much more similar to Romero than Van der Ven. And if you've got Ben Davies as a backup to Van der Ven, if Dragusin is going to be a backup to Romero, that makes sense. It's sensible, but yeah, very much. It's just interesting the kind of players that are coming in and how much Paratici is obviously still involved in the football club.
Yeah, because he was highly he brought him to Juve, I think.
He brought him to Juve, Romero, Kulusevski and Bentancur, all players recruited by Paratici at Juve, all four now playing at Spurs. So it's incredible the work Paratici has done, and even though he's banned from working in football for 30 months, or what is probably about 26 months now, he's clearly still working for Spurs in some fashion. Yeah, and it was something that needed to be done. Postecoglou made it clear very early on that we need to do our business early. I didn't think it would happen because Daniel Levy has never operated like that. The last time we signed someone as early as we did Werner was I can't remember the guy's name. He's a centre back from South Africa. Forgive me, but it was years and years and years ago. We've never operated that way. I think Daniel Levy's looking at it going, all right, I've got an opportunity here with Postecoglou.
Yeah,
I need to back him.
I think Ange will be most pleased with this signing. It was always the main target out of the kind of targets they would have had for this window. Now, another one of these targets is Conor Gallagher from Chelsea, which, one of those links that kind of raises the eyebrows of a few people. What do you make of that? Do you think you'll get him as well?
Look, I mean, we would... I think if it was up to the player, he'd probably stay at Chelsea, almost certainly.
But Chelsea look like they maybe want to do this deal.
I think Chelsea, out of every, Spurs would be open to bringing the Chelsea captain. Can you imagine what a statement that is? Chelsea's current captain. I appreciate Reece James as club captain, but
the Rory Jennings meltdown.
He's going to hate it because this is a player who is dyed in the wool. Chelsea. He came through their academy. He's wearing their captain's armband for the vast majority of the games this season because Reece James hasn't been about, and you could easily end up playing for Tottenham, Chelsea's most fierce rival.
Would it, if we strip all of that back, would that be a signing that you'd love to see? Do you think you need Conor Gallagher? Do you rate him? Do you think he's a good player?
I do rate him. I do think he's an excellent player. And when I remember seeing him on loan, I think it was at West Brom, and thinking this kid stands out like a country mile. But the irony of this is that we'd be taking Chelsea's captain and he doesn't get in our starting 11. Like if Basuma, Bentancur and Maddison are fit, you tell me, does Gallagher get in that midfield? Now, we've obviously got aspirations of European football next season, which obviously, if we would have to build a bigger squad. And somewhat a homegrown midfielder in Conor Gallagher solves a lot of problems. We're on the brink of our homegrown quota, like most clubs are. So someone like him, and that's why Ivan Toney's going to go for a premium as well, because he's English and excellent. It frees up for us to go abroad and buy another player in another area.
Given that during this transfer window already, Ange's pretty much ticked off his wish list so far. Maybe we'll see some more bodies through the door, maybe see some leave as well. What do you think for you now is the kind of minimum requirement for him by the end of this season? Minimum.
I think there's no scenario barring an absolute meltdown that Postecoglou leaves the football club. So the bare minimum would mean that even if fifth or sixth would be a failure at this stage, but not a failure to an extent where you'd even question whether or not he was the right man. He's 100% the right man to be at the football club. So I don't think there is a bare minimum. Let's just wait and see what happens. The good thing though is that at this
fifth or sixth would be a failure. You're kind of expecting top four in a way.
Expecting's a wrong word. I'm hopeful and ambitious in his ideas. And that ambition comes from what I've seen from Postecoglou thus far. If we get all of our players back, and I'm saying this not in jest. If we get all our players back in February, and we don't suffer any cataclysmic event like Chelsea, the game against Chelsea.
Go on, say it. Go on.
We could challenge for the league this season. It's not a shot. I don't know why the intake of breath. We're 6 points behind the leaders. Why is that? If Arsenal were in our situation, or Liverpool, and they said that, you wouldn't go, would you? There wouldn't be a sharp intake of breath. That's disrespectful.
That's why I did it.
The Spurs continue to fly under the radar, and the lack of respect that we get is significant.
Okay.
And so when something big happens at Tottenham, it has to happen eventually. I'll be on the front row laughing at you, Olly Clink. Yeah, laughing at you, Olly Clink.
Enough. Well, you heard it here. If they stay fully fit, Tottenham are in the title race with Timo Werner leading the line.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.